Welcome back to Pitcher Perfect Podcast. This is episode 4. I am one of your co-hosts, Kat Osterman, here with Holly Pierce, and we are excited today to bring you our first pitching guest. So our first guest appearance on the podcast, no other than Amanda Scarborough. If you are a pitcher, you know Amanda, her pitching angel, her commentating, everything she is involved in. She likes to give you guys all the nuggets. So we are going to talk to her today a little bit about her pitching journey and just pitching trends over the course of her career and now commentating what she sees. Doesn't really need an introduction. As I mentioned, ESPN commentator. She was a pitcher at Texas A&M. I forgive her for that. We're really good friends. Actually, her being at A&M is why we became good friends. That works. And then obviously she was a great pitcher, 2-time All-American, 2005 Big 12 Player of the Year, 2007 Big 12 Pitcher of the Year. She actually got hurt at the end of her career. We'll mention that. And she kind of became a coach, so to speak, her last season and helped her fellow pitchers as they went on a World Series run. So, Amanda, welcome.
Yeah, good to be here. 2 things. One, I'm so proud of you guys for starting this podcast. It's going to be amazing. It already is, but much needed in our sport. And then number 2, thanks for leaving, Kat, so I could get Pitcher of the Year in 2007. So that worked out well.
Well, you could have still been up for Player of the Year. You swung it. You and Megan were a 1-2 punch that nobody wanted to see coming. But let's get right into it. Just going to go ahead, obviously we're going to focus on pitching. And what made you choose pitching, stick with pitching, kind of your journey to get started in something that is not easy to master?
Yeah, I remember, so I first started out not in T-ball, but coach pitch. And I remember getting to the field at a local league, Oaks Dads Club in Houston, Texas, and watching the older girls pitch. You'd get to the game early. We were like on a smaller field over in the corner, and there were the bigger fields that were next to us, and the older girls in 12U and 14U would be playing in league ball. And I just remember like hanging on the fence, watching them pitch, and thinking about how cool it was that what they were doing. Like, it was so foreign to me because our coach was pitching to us, and I got to see these girls who were just a little bit older than me like do it, and I thought it was so cool. But when we moved up from coach pitch to pitcher pitch, my coach had our team gathered together and said, who wants to pitch? And I wasn't going to raise my hand. I was shy, nervous, not outspoken, and my dad said, oh, Amanda will do it. So my dad was the one who volunteered me to pitch, and then from then on, I think I was secretly kind of happy he did it because I was looking up to those older girls. But from then on, it was pitcher life moving forward and my dad on a bucket and doing all the things.
Caught the bug, the pitching bug, like all of us. And then you walk around the house doing this, like with your arm.
Oh, yeah,
all the time.
Grocery store, yeah, down the hallways. You know how
That's
it is.
When you know.
As you started to pitch, what was your favorite part of it? I mean, I think it's a journey, obviously, until you're really good. So what was it? What part of it was your favorite that kept you engaged?
So I think a lot of people don't know that I'm really competitive. I'm not this outwardly competitive person where if you're right next to me, or I'm like, oh, I'm going to beat you. That's just not me, but I'm very internally competitive. So I loved different hitters coming up and in my mind being like, I'm going to get you out. I was so driven by just that me versus you and the inside. And again, you would never know that about me, being around me, being my teammate, but the teammates that have played with me the longest, especially in college, they definitely know that about me. They'll joke oh, Amanda doesn't want to win, but the game turns on and I want to win. And so I was just addicted to that me versus you. I want to get you out, that internal competitiveness that got to get pulled out of me because of pitching.
Was there a defining moment? So for me, similar to you, my dad didn't volunteer me, but we needed a volunteer to pitch an inning in Little League. And so I raised my hand, but it was striking out one of my first 3 hitters. And that's all of a sudden where it was oh, I won the me versus you, and it was this is fun. I want to do that. Was there a moment like that for you?
I don't. Memory is so bad, Kat, and I think it's because I got hit in the head with a line drive my freshman year at A&M. But I do think there is something about being a pitcher that's addicting to strikeouts. No matter if you are a strikeout pitcher or not, you just love striking people out. It feels so good to see a swing and miss or somebody take a changeup with 2 strikes and getting the call. There's just something. It really is addicting. It's contagious. So I know that those strikeouts too in league ball, where it all started for me, was definitely something that kept me going and wanting more.
Amanda, can you tell everybody the story that you told me when we were in Tennessee in December when you pulled into the garage? You know which one I'm talking about. I think
Yeah, yeah.
that's a really inspiring, and I would say, I don't want to speak for you, but probably a defining moment, would you say?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that every pitcher has, I don't know, probably multiple defining moments where they make a choice to continue to be a pitcher because it's really hard at times. And it's such a conscious choice to say, I still want to continue to do this. Like you have to say yes to yourself and yes to this role and yes to the grind. For me, up until probably when I was in 10th grade, I was never the number one pitcher. Like in my travel ball team and in high school, I was always pitching behind somebody. And especially, I would say, like in fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth grade, I was the number 3, number 4 pitcher. Like I was playing third base, I was playing outfield, I was leading off the offensive lineup. Like I was playing all these other positions, and it's like, oh yeah, I also pitched. But I kept working hard, Holly. I was on good teams that would play in the championship games and travel ball. And there was this one tournament in particular where, I think we were matched up in the championship game on Sunday. And I remember driving to the field with my parents and thinking, all right, this is going to be my chance to pitch in the championship game. Like the team we were playing, is they were like not that great. And I was thinking, okay, this is going to be my chance to pitch in the championship game. And so on Sunday, the lineup comes out in our dugout, and I look at my name, and I'm playing third base again. And I just remember being so incredibly bummed because I was okay with like not getting all the big games before that. But on this in particular Sunday in the championship game, like I thought I was going to pitch. Well, this team gave us trouble. We needed a relief pitcher. I thought it was going to be me. Didn't get a chance to go in, and we ended up winning the championship game anyway. But after that, I remember being so bummed, like happy for the team, but like feeling the trophy in my hands and being like, oh, I just want to be the pitcher. And so on the way home, Holly, like I was sitting in the car and we got to the garage at our house and getting out of the car, and I just broke down crying in the garage with my parents. And we didn't say a word the entire way to our house talking because they knew that I was upset. Like they wanted me to be able to pitch in the championship game too. And it was in that moment in the garage, I was just bawling and bawling and bawling. My mom as well, she was crying because you guys know parents are invested in this. And we decided to take a 2-week break. And I did. I took a break. It didn't even last 2 weeks though. I was like floating around in the pool, watching friends, like just having fun, doing nothing. But then I realized like I missed it. That the 2-week break was supposed to be a deciding factor if I wanted to continue on to pitch or if I wanted to stop. And it was in that break where I made the decision that I wanted to continue on, that it was important to me, that the championship game and getting those big games wasn't as important as just continuing on doing something that I was passionate about and I loved. And that defining moment, like I easily could have quit in that moment, but it was a moment that I really felt like was a turning point for me mentally to work harder, to put more into pitching, not just hitting and all the other parts of my game, but just to continue forward being a pitcher. And that truly was the defining moment in my pitching life.
That's huge. I think so many people need to hear that. One, that you had the drive and it didn't come. Like, I think a lot of people look at those of us that have been really good at pitching and assume it was just like, oh, we were always good. I mean, I'm shocker that our lives are similar even when we were young. Like, I wasn't the number one pitcher on my travel team for a long time. And it was the same thing. We were playing, we were in a big game, and our number one got in trouble. So I go in bases loaded, no outs. And that's like my shot to say, hey, I can do this and I don't just need the mop-up innings. And so I think it's so cool for kids to hear that, we've been in those situations, and it's truly not everyone saying, hey, just be ready for your opportunity. No, like you really do have to be ready for your opportunity. And even if it doesn't come, in your case, in that situation, you did some self-reflecting on, okay, I really want this. Am I doing what it takes to be able to get that opportunity, even though at the time you probably thought you were? And I really like that, because I think that resonates so much with parents and kids alike who just think, I'm on a team, I'm one of 3 or 4 pitchers, so I'll pitch 33 to 25% of the time. Like, that's not how it always goes.
Yeah, you probably feel this way, but I'm happy I wasn't the number one pitcher when I was growing up. Like, I have such a strong work ethic in life, in my career. I am so driven, and I know that a lot of it has to do with sports and the fact that I wasn't the number one pitcher growing up, that I had to prove myself, that I had to work harder, that I had to push harder and be resilient. So I'm happy that I wasn't the number one pitcher when I was growing up. I feel like it made my college career, and I feel like it made me who I am today, just in my real career.
Oh, 100%. My pitching coach, Tim Timmons, he used to do like an end of the year banquet for all of his pitchers because he had a ton of them in the Houston area. And he would give out like his top 14U pitcher, his top, and he even broke it down into like the classes of A and B because, you had A teams and B teams back when we played. I remember one year I went and I didn't get an award, and I looked at my dad, and I knew I didn't expect to get an award. I just didn't get one. And it was like, I'm going to get an award next time. Like, it gave me something to work towards. And I wasn't good. I threw a fastball and a changeup and spotted things for a long time before anything ever moved. But it gave me a goal to be better because I wasn't, I could sit here and list a name of people who are better than me, and you and I probably would know them, Amanda. A lot of them played in the Big 12. But then eventually, over time it evens out because of your work ethic. So yeah, no, I agree with you there. Talking about work ethic, let's transition a little bit. You're now kind of, I say teaching pitching. You don't necessarily do one-on-one lessons. You have your Pitching Angel retreat. You obviously do a lot of online programming. One double-sided question, what spurred you to get into that? And then two, as you've progressed in this over the years now, what is the biggest need you've seen for young pitchers?
Good questions. So I didn't think I was going to be a coach. I had zero desire to do anything with softball. Like my senior year at A&M, I was really burnt out. I was wanting to move on. I just was giving my all my senior year, and but I was just so ready to be done with softball. Like I just felt burnt out, especially feeling the pressure as a pitcher, hitter. It just is a lot on me. Like I feel all those emotions in a lot of different ways. Anyway, like you mentioned, I get hurt, and that was in late February of my senior year. And if you would have asked me the day before I got hurt if I wanted to coach softball, I would have looked at you like you were crazy. I wanted to be out of the sport. I get hurt. It pushes me into this completely different role in my team, going from being the everyday starter, both offensively and in the circle, to then being like a player coach. And I learned that I actually had such a big passion for coaching. And it was because of my injury that threw me into this different mindset and different appreciation of the sport that I didn't know that I had. And so after my senior year, I started blogging. I started posting on Facebook when nobody else was, of pitching related things like topics, mental, physical, anything that had to do with pitching. It was actually like therapeutic for me to blog about it and write about it and post it. And I saw the comments that it was getting of other people like being able to learn from it and reading it. And I was like, oh, I was just kind of starting this and doing it for myself, but I didn't realize it was going to help so many other people so much. So because of my injury, it got me into coaching and being able to share information and knowledge and my experiences and having me just dig deep. And it was truly a therapeutic thing, but it was helping others. And so I love that part. I love seeing how it helped others, and it made me dig deeper to find topics that they needed to answer their questions and share it. And so one of the biggest ones was about mechanics. Like I was a smaller pitcher. I'm only 5, and people noticed that I threw 69, 70. And how did you do that? Like I had great mechanics like that. I had great coaches who taught me great mechanics. And then now I get to teach others that. So the things that I learned when I was growing up, whether it's mechanically or mentally, I just have such a passion to share with others. And a big physical part of that I teach in my online training. And then also in my physical retreat, the Pitching Angel, or my pitching retreat, the Pitching Angel experience is so much about athleticism, like mechanical, like teaching good mechanics, and then being able to pull athleticism out of a pitcher. Like those to me are just very important, to not just be a robot when you're pitching, like to work on mechanics, yes, but to also like bring in that athleticism into pitching that gets the most out of your body, your unique style and body.
For all of our pitchers out there watching, to look into the Pitching Angel retreat. I had the great opportunity to go this past December. Was it December? Yeah.
Yeah.
In Texas. I had a station with Emily Kennedy. It was awesome. What a great experience. It was just I wish that I would have had an opportunity like that growing up. So for all of you out there, look into it, and applications start like way ahead of time.
Yeah,
so
like
just
September.
FYI, don't wait till the last minute.
Yeah, and Kat was the first ever speaker at it as well. So you guys have both been there. So thanks for your support for it.
Of course. I think more situations like that are needed. It's funny. You and I joke all the time. We're like life twins because our brains kind of work at the same time. And as you were planning that, I was like tooling around with the idea of doing something like that, specifically more for the Bombers who I work for. But we definitely need to put pitchers in situations where they're around elite pitchers. And I think it's incredible what you do, bringing in myself, other speakers, Holly, but then you also bring in college pitchers that they get to see, that they're seeing on TV already. So, they know the likes of the pitchers in the past, but actually bringing in people that they're seeing every day is, it's a cool experience for them. While you're doing your pitching angel and everything, obviously it gets you thinking, I'm sure, back to like, okay, what would little Amanda have benefited from? So in all of this, is there one thing that you wish little Amanda knew when she started out on this journey that you've like tapped into as you've gone through it?
This probably could be a long laundry list of things that I wish that I knew, but I always go back to I wish I would have focused a little bit more on my spin. Like I talked to you about mechanics and like I could throw hard and I was pushing for velocity, but back then, Kat, there was like no way to measure spin and anything. And like, quite frankly, like I hated the spin tools. I didn't ever want to do them. Like I hated a spinner. My parents got me the spinner. I did not want to do it. I hated it. Probably because I wasn't good at it, honestly. And I wish that somebody would have like forced me to do it a little bit more. I do think that you need from your parents and from your coach, like, I do think you need to get pushed a little bit. Like that's a huge question that I think we all get is like, how hard should I push my pitcher? And sometimes it's like to pitch or sometimes to do a certain drill or a certain thing that they don't want to do. And I wish somebody would have pushed me harder to do more spin work and then also just to like really master a changeup or an off-speed pitch. That was just like an okay pitch for me. Not great. And my spin was okay. I'm not saying it was bad, but I just wish I would have had like really focused on having better spin when I was younger.
Okay, we're going to pivot real quick because you just mentioned the one topic Holly and I were talking about before you jumped on here is the changeup. I had one when we were young, like up till 14, 15, when I started throwing everything that moved. And I got through college without a great one and having to throw one a ton. But I think we were just talking about, you look at it today and you and I get a view of it in the booth. Holly watches all of it on TV, but the importance of a changeup this day and age and really being able to master one young and keep it. I think it's more important now than ever. I think in the past we could have named some pitchers who didn't have changeups that were successful, but I look at it now and talking about the elite of the elite when we talk today about, a Nyjah, a Carly Pickens, a Jordy Ball. Like we talk about up down movement, we talk about hard, but there's always a changeup in that conversation. Talk a little bit just about that pitch in particular as you've commentated from basically 2000.
Yeah, I think that pitch is incredibly important, and even having 3 speeds now is so important. Like a pitcher like Sydney Berzon who throws 3 speeds. I mean, that was something she told me, the LSU pitcher who just finished up her season. That's something that she told me that she worked on at a young age. Her coach introduced that to her, and it's like I wasn't even thinking about 3 speeds. I was thinking about like trying to throw my hardest, and like that was it. And like change up. Like we'll work on it later. And like I think there's so much importance of like a pitcher. Like I'll use myself as an example of even if you're not getting that pitch to click, you cannot give up on it. Not for a month, not for a year, not for 5 years. You have to figure it out. And maybe it's if you have a great drop ball or a great curve ball, like mastering that into an off-speed pitch, like being able to use whatever your strength is and turn that into an off-speed pitch. And you don't necessarily call it a changeup, but like you have to be able to change speeds. And I think there's so many different ways to do it by using your strengths. If the changeup isn't going to be the pitch that you can master at a young age, you cannot give up on it. Cannot. Have to keep going.
I think also so many times pitchers in a game, like they'll maybe throw 2 in the first inning and they go in the dirt or they don't go where they want them to, and then they don't throw it the rest of the game. And it's like, stick with it throughout the game too. Stick with it in general, and then also don't give up on it if it doesn't work in the first inning. You're going to need it in order to get through a lineup 3 times. You're going to have to keep hitters on balance.
I think, well, Holly, to you real quick, you work with the younger ones more so than Amanda, actually every day and like in person. How often are you getting pitchers that can't get a changeup, in which, where do you go about, what's the next move with that? And then 2, like you just said, when they don't have confidence in it, how are you still encouraging them to use it?
I think trying to simplify the changeup is a big thing, and telling pitchers not to stress. It doesn't have to be perfect. Even if you miss in the dirt or you aren't able yet to throw it for a strike, just giving the batter a different look is still going to work to your benefit. And we talk a lot about setting pitches up and hitters timing, disrupting timing. And so obviously we want our pitchers to work and master the ability to put that changeup where they want to put it, but it's going to be a process, and don't discount the effectiveness of a changeup, even when you may be like missing in the dirt or missing out of the zone, just because it is giving hitters guessing, giving them a different look. We talk about putting hitters to sleep, just kind of getting them to just look at something slow so you can set them back up. Use it as a setup pitch if you don't have it mastered yet to be able to throw it for a strike. We just really talk about no matter how good your changeup is, there's still going to be a purpose for it. And you'll get there, but continue throwing it, even if you aren't throwing it for a strike yet. Throw it for a setup pitch, like I said, or an expand pitch.
We're talking about change of speeds, and I'm going to assume that's going to be one of these 3 things. But Amanda, 3 things that make pitchers elite.
Yeah, man, I wrote these down because I wanted to be able to remember them before starting here. But one, I think, is a quick rebound and a quick reset. You're going to get hit, you're going to give up runs, and being able to have that flip of the switch to be able to move forward, whether it's within the inning, within a batter, or within a game, from the next inning, but being able to quickly rebound and quickly reset. The most elite do that. It's not, I walk 1, then I walk 2, and then there's a hit, and then another walk. It is a quick rebound and a quick reset that makes the most elite pitchers be able to move forward. And then secondly, we already kind of touched on this, but I think being able to split the zone vertically and be able to change speeds, the best pitchers in our game, that's what they're doing. So being able to move the ball up with the rise, down with the drop, or change speeds with the changeup and have a third speed. I just think that splitting the zone vertically and changing speeds is what the elite are doing right now. I mean, curve and screw have a purpose, and I get that if that's your strength and a pitch that you can throw for a strike, you go with your strengths. But I think being able to split the zone vertically is a focus that every pitcher should have, even if curve or screw is their best pitch. And then finally, being able to transition what you're doing in the bullpen into the game. And I think that comes from this competitive mindset and learning to compete, feel the pressure, feel the adrenaline, feel the big moment, and emulate what you're doing in bullpens and at practice with those same feelings to be able to take it into a game and throw the same speed and execute the same pitches and have the same mindset that you feel in the bullpen once you are actually in a game with all the pressure.
I'm going to expand on that just a little bit, twofold. I think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, if you have a good pitcher, let's just say they are curve screw, but they can keep it at the knees, then you can go vertical and you still have that vertical stretch. I think, and you probably see it as much as I do, how often pitchers get in trouble because their curve screw isn't too high in the zone. So therefore it's too close to their rise. Because I think some pitchers try to have everything, and then it's well, you don't necessarily have to have a drop if it's not in your pattern or the way your body moves, but you have to be able to not you want those pitches to tunnel, but you don't want those pitches to be at the same height, kind of thing. And then I liked your last point, being competitive and taking your bullpen into the game versus trying to make the bullpen you want to be, if you're relaxed and nice and loose and whatever in the bullpen and you perform well there, then how do you make that in the game? So I'm going to ask you, I'm uber competitive, so I need the intensity. I mean, we all know, you've seen the stare, the scowl, the eyebrows have to go in. Coach Clark used to joke if they weren't going in, she knew it wasn't a great day. But so for me, I took the intensity I have to feel in a game to my bullpen and made game-like situations, and not, I'm pretending to do hitters, but I would do a game and challenge myself, whether it was pretending to play horse with somebody or, hey, I have to hit 9 out of 10 or whatever, and that's the intensity and focus. How did you make your bullpens emulate your game? Because you and I are drastically different, when both competitive, but different when it comes to how that competitiveness plays out.
Yeah, so we always had games and something on the line at the end of my lessons, and I try to do that at practice as well. So it could be anything from, as you said, trying to hit 9 out of 10 at a spot, or it could be more of a feel related thing. So I would scale a lot on a scale of 1 to 10. This is something that my pitching coach taught me that I still coach others on, and I think it got me great body awareness and also competitiveness and that internal just feel of what I needed to do to be my own pitching coach. But super simple example is that we would end a lesson on all right, let's throw 10 fastballs, and 8 out of 10 have to be a 9 out of 10 on an aggressiveness scale. After 1 one pitch, I would, on a scale of 1 to 10, have to tell her on a scale of 1 to 10 how much my aggressiveness was. So we'd set a standard. Like in order for me to get a point, it would need to be 8 out of 10 or 8.5 out of 10. Like we would set whatever standard it was that day and keep score. And if I didn't get it, then she would get a point. And if I did get it, then I would get a point. And then I'd get to get, like, I literally would get 50 cents to be able to get a Coke at the end of the lesson. And so it's something that, like, I know seems so simple. And I think that you could either say if you don't get it, then you have to do 10 push-ups and then like negative or kind of like a negative consequence. Mine was always a positive consequence. And I'm not opposed to the negative consequence because I think every pitcher is going to be different. But we always ended with a game and a positive consequence if I got it. And if I didn't get it, it was just kind of like the bummer of not getting it. Like that taught me to like want that positive consequence rather than the negative consequence being at the end of the tunnel.
I like that. I like the positive consequence as opposed to, I don't know. Did your parents ever do anything? Like, I know nowadays if kid hits a home run, all of a sudden like mom and dad are giving them $20 or whatever. My dad, I got steak dinners if I threw a no-hitter.
No, I didn't get that. I played for, I was a pickup player in a Team New Jersey team, and that coach was giving out like $100 for a home run or something. I thought it was like the coolest thing ever. I'd never heard anything like that in my entire life, and I was like, this is the best. But no, that was the only time that anything like that ever happened for me.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah, after I threw one or two, like my dad would be like, oh, we can go have a steak dinner, and we always went to the same place.
Where was it? Where did you go?
It's up there by Cy-Fair High School. What's it called? It's actually a barbecue place. I want to say Cody's, but I don't think it's called Cody's. What is it called? I can't. I'll remember as soon as we get off this. Occasionally, I would trade it in just for a dinner out, and then over time, I'd be like, Dad, you owe me this. Can I have this instead? And I'd barter. And of course, whatever I wanted was probably cheaper than going to dinner as a family. But yeah, I like the positive consequence, and I think too many people want to input the negative, like, hey, you didn't do it, so you have to do something extra. I occasionally did have, I don't want to say negative consequence, but it was like, this is what you need to do, and if you don't, then you're going to throw 5 extra. Like, so it wasn't negative, it was just, okay, now we're going to lengthen this a little bit longer. That teaches you too, just like how to focus in, especially if you've done like at the end, like working tired. And I think that's huge. All right, we're going to pivot to the booth for one last question. As you call games, are there common trends or themes? And it can be positive or negative. I mean, it could be good things pitcher do, or we can even ask, pet peeves, because I have my pet peeve when I'm calling games, but that you have noticed this year and just over the years.
I can't believe you have a pet peeve. That really shocks me. Sarcasm there. It would be how quickly things are getting out of hand. Like that is my number one takeaway, especially this year. I've noticed it more than ever, is like the game will be so close and a pitcher will be rolling, and then in one inning, the game is like a run roll and the game is completely off its hinges. I guess more of a bad thing, right, is like a pitcher not responding, not getting that reset as quick as possible, and how quickly the offenses are making adjustments against hitters. And it just is like the flip of a switch that a game can just completely turn on its head. And then the other thing is I just feel like our strike zone is so small, and it makes it incredibly challenging on pitchers with these great offenses to then have to come more on the plate. So I think that that's a big theme in our game right now, is just a small strike zone and what we can do about it with this just explosion of offense that we're seeing and how tough it's making on pitchers.
No, I agree with the strike zone, and I think as I call games, I hear you call games, Danielle Lowry, like pitchers in the booth, so many times I think we're like, I thought that would have been a strike, or we would have been like, we would be asking for that to be a strike. And I think too,
me in the you would be asking for a strike. She'd love to talk to the umpires, Holly.
Amanda might have been there the only time I got my warning, so it's okay. But that's a story for another day. But you would have wanted it. Okay, you wouldn't have asked, but you would have wanted it to be a strike. Let's put it that way.
Just laughing. I love we know each other so well, and I've seen that in action. It's great.
I agree. Do you think, and this goes with that, I think there was a time, and you and even Danielle, there was movement through the zone. And I will say my curveball honestly breaks late. And so there are times where I threw it and it was off the plate in what it looked like, but it broke late, so it did catch a corner. Do you think pitchers are focusing on having later break, or like, do you think there's curveballs that are catching the corner, or do we think is it really just, I do agree, it is a small zone, but are we teaching pitchers how to throw to where they catch the corner versus I'm throwing a curveball to this spot off the plate?
I think every pitcher is going to be different. I really do with their movement, but I do think there are a lot of pitches that are catching the plate that aren't getting called.
Agreed.
That finish a ball or two off of the plate. But like, think about Cat now too. Like, so many more hitters are getting in the very back of the box. Like, I feel like that was a trend that started probably about 10 years ago. Like, not even necessarily when we were playing, maybe a little bit, but like, it's pushing these hitters in the back of the box, and so it's pushing the catcher back. And when they catch it, it's so much beyond the plate. So it's like, it could be crossing the plate, and likely is crossing the plate, but they're not getting the call based off of where the hitter is set up. And sometimes the umpires aren't adjusting to that.
Yeah. Well, and two, are you practicing with your catcher as far back as possible in a bullpen?
True.
Yes.
Because I will tell you, at young ages, they do not. I can't tell you how many catchers I get at lessons, the few I do, that come and they're like right on the plate. I'm like, hey, if a hitter's in the back of the box, like your head's getting hit, not even your glove.
Yeah. I hated it when a hitter was in the back of the box against me. And it was something, again, that it's like, I swear when we were growing up, Kat, it's like, get in the front of the box, try to catch it before it breaks. Like, that was such a theme. And now it's like, as time has gone on, they've progressively moved to the back of the box. And so I would feel that as a pitcher in college, because I threw harder, so people would get a little bit more get in the back of the box against me. And I wasn't as used to it. And it is something, to your point, like, I wish I would have practiced that a little bit more. It's important.
Yeah. I got the benefit of, with the national team, from between high school senior and freshman year of college, to where I had to deal with that a little bit. And then UCLA did it to me the first time we played, and oh my God, I never wanted to play UCLA again. I was just like, I don't, they sit in the very back of the box. It's annoying as heck. As a drop ball pitcher, it was like, no. But I do think, and I benefited watching this weekend, South Carolina. We had umpires that actually called the front of the plate. So there were a number of changeups that when the catcher finally caught it, it was probably a ball below the knee, but they were floating in like right at kneecap. And I was like, props, the fans didn't like it. And a couple of hitters were like, what? And I'm like, you're in the back of the box. At some point, that was not below your knee the whole way across the plate. So I will give props to those umpires, but the changeup's obviously easier to see than a drop and a curve sometimes. Holly, you have any last questions before we play our game?
No, I'm ready for the game, but I want to thank you for coming on here. Great answers, and it's always good to see your face, Amanda.
Oh my gosh, I love you guys. I will love to come on here anytime that you'd like me to. You guys are amazing.
Well, this is going to come out after Supers, but let's go ahead and throw in, what is your go-to pitching matchup for Super Regionals?
Like, my favorite one that I'm looking most forward to, Jordy and Carlin. I mean, Tennessee, Nebraska, that is going to be, I think, a great one. And you know what? I'm very interested to see Nebraska's offense hit against good pitching. It's something that was missing a little bit in the regional. I wanted to see that offense against the LSU pitching. That matchup never happened. But the best pitchers were on the LSU's pitching staff in that regional, and we never got to see it. So I'm very interested to see Nebraska's offense against Carlin Pickens.
Yeah, I think all eyes will be on that one. Cool. All right, Holly, we'll throw it to you.
Okay, we're going to finish here with a game, and we know how competitive you both are, so keep it simple here. All right, so this is the game. I'm going to go 5 questions. Amanda's the guest, so she gets to start. And each question, you're going to get 5 seconds to answer it. If you don't answer within 5, or I'll do it with my hands. If you don't answer within 5, or you get it wrong, then it kicks over to Kat. And then whoever gets that point gets to answer first on the next question. All right? Which way do you want me to count? Count down or count up?
I was going to say up.
Okay. All right. I'm going to count down. That's what I had already practiced. Okay. Amanda, you start first. Amanda, what is the first year that an SEC team won the Women's College World Series?
2012.
Yes. Alabama over Oklahoma.
Also, you count fast, Holly. Where are the Mississippis at?
I know that went.
One, that was fast. Okay, I'll slow it down. Okay, number 2. So Go Pokes is a popular tradition at Oklahoma State. What is a poke?
A cowboy.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
I really didn't know. Kat, did you know that?
That was going to be my guess, too.
You guys should know that. You're from Texas, I guess.
We didn't grow up on the farm. Come on now.
I don't know what that is. I need to Google it when I get off of here.
We did not grow up on the farm or the cowboy or the ranches or anything like that.
We're city girls.
How about? How am I supposed to get points if she answers all of them?
Well, okay. Should we let Kat start this one, Amanda?
Okay.
All right. What's the name of the Bruin bear?
Really?
No! Of all questions for you to get. I'm sorry.
I don't know. Benny.
Amanda, do you know?
Oh my gosh, I did know in February. No, I can't think of it. Johnny? I can't. What is it?
It's Joe Brew.
Joe. I
Oh,
knew
that
it
makes
started
sense.
with a
Yeah.
J. Dang it. I knew
Okay,
that.
no point. So that means it goes back to Kat again since neither of you got it. All right. Which Big 12 team had the lowest team ERA during conference this season?
Texas Tech University.
Do you know that for a fact? Or is that a guess? Because ChatGPT told me that it was Baylor. Does that sound right?
No.
ChatGPT is wrong in this instance, I think.
Chat.
But we can Google.
We can
Yeah,
pull
let's
up.
Google it.
I'm pretty sure, but
When you have Nija, she's a
yeah, that's what I was
ERA
like.
bringer downer.
Well, and I should know that doing the Big 12 tournament. Pitching. Yeah, Texas Tech, 1.1 ERA.
All right, Kat gets the point.
Baylor was a 3.5.
Dang it, chat.
It's 2-2. How about whoever answers it first, right? No, it's
Okay.
it's 2-1.
Oh, yeah, 2-1.
Okay, for question number 5, Kat got the answer, so she gets to start the next one. Okay, you got 5 seconds to name 3 pitchers who do not wear a face mask currently. Am I counting down?
I mean, you can. I'm trying to picture them. I don't even know. Everyone I'm picturing wears one.
Amanda?
Sam Landry,
Okay, you got 5 seconds to pick it up.
Carlin Pickens, and Emily Kennedy.
Ding, ding, ding.
Carlin doesn't wear one? I thought Carlin wore one.
So that's no. Carlin. I had Carlin Pickens, Ruby Malin, Bachman, Munnerlin, Landry. None of them wear face masks. Yeah, it's weird.
All right.
Like nowadays, I feel like I used to really notice them, and nowadays I just don't even really notice like who wears them.
I actually don't notice. I think with Sam, I was thinking of her glasses, with Sam Landry, her glasses being on, and it's like a mask can't go over it. And then I've had Carlin Pickens, so like she popped into my mind. And then A&M, Emily Kennedy, I've seen her pitch a lot, so she was fresh.
That was good.
I went through the whole Texas roster, and I'm like, mask, mask, mask.
Have either of you ever gotten hit in the back with a line drive?
Yeah.
Not in the face. I haven't gotten in the face. I've gotten the ribs, or well, like backside of the ribs, shin, foot. I think that's it.
I got hit really hard in my knee. I feel like all these happened in high school. In my knee in high school, my knee was so swollen. And then my senior year, we had to play spring and Megan Gibson. And so my high school coach had me pitch to our team in preparation of that because we're very similar speed. And I was not prepared for anybody to even touch it, just being honest. And somebody got a hold of it and hit it right back into my head before our game. So I played Megan Gibson in spring after a line drive coming back at me at practice, and I had black eyes and
probably concussed.
Yeah, and shouldn't have been pitching, but I did, and we won that game.
Yeah, fun.
All right. Well, congratulations, Amanda.
Yeah, Amanda, you win. Good job.
We'll have to have a rematch.
To be honest, I knew who won the first SEC, but I was like, when she said year, I was like, ooh, I was like 2010, maybe? So.
You know what's funny? When chat told me Baylor, I'm like, really? Okay. It doesn't seem right. I should have double checked.
Sometimes
not this year.
Right. Sometimes it's wrong. You never know.
Amanda, thank you for joining us as our first guest. Hopefully we can have you back. I'm sure we have plenty of pitching conversations we can have between the three of us. So we will welcome you back. We'll let you get through the World Series and have things calm down before you bring you back. But this is episode 4 of Pitcher Perfect Podcast. I'm Kat Osterman with my co-host, Holly Pierce. We hope you will subscribe, like, download, do all the things. Go follow Amanda if you don't already. She offers a boatload of information just from commentating, pitching, you name it. She's putting it all out there. How she has the time for everything, I'm not quite sure, but she gets it all done. But thank you for listening, and we will welcome you back for episode 5.
Awesome.